Have you ever wondered why crackers have holes in them? Well, it's because then they'd be bread. Crackers are cool because they're easy to make and eat, and best of all, they taste pretty good, at least according to most people. I mean, if you think crackers don't taste very good, you're probably not human. But it is kind of weird that they have those holes in them. I mean, think about it. There's not many other foods that have lots of holes in. I mean, yeah, sure, there's those English muffins, strawberries, kind of, honeycomb cereal, Swiss cheese, Oreo chocolate bars, and sourdough bread. It's a lot more food with holes in it than I thought. But why crackers? To understand why this happens, we need to understand why baked goods rise when they cook. Baked goods rise really for one reason: carbon dioxide gas. The stuff we breathe out. More specifically, what I mean by this is yeast and chemical add-ins. Yeast is a fungus that lives in the wild and in many kitchens throughout the world. In order to make bread rise, they add yeast, and the yeast needs to get warmed up with warmed water. Warmed water is the ideal temperature for the reaction that will take place. Yeast, now activated with the warm water, then begins its feast on the sugar in the food, as it's alive and most living things want sugar in one way or another. I mean, if you look at me on a Saturday or Sunday night, you'll know most living things want sugar. Anyways, the yeast, as a waste product, produces carbon dioxide gas. This gas starts to bubble up and expand in the food until you have air pockets that make the bread less dense and more fluffy. In chemical add-ins like baking powder and baking soda, it's the same exact idea, only you have chemicals doing all the reactions and making all the carbon dioxide rather than a fungus. Now, in case you were wondering, the reason why these chemical add-ins are even used are because they are much, much faster than a slow reaction you'd expect from a fungus. Now, what does any of this carbon dioxide, bread rising, yeast, and baking powder and baking soda stuff have to do with holes in crackers? Well, the reactions that take place do create carbon dioxide, but the carbon dioxide actually escapes through the holes in the crackers, so they only rise a very, very small amount. Basically, imagine crackers are balloons. Now, think about those holes in the crackers and therefore holes in the balloons. Would the balloons be able to rise if you were to blow into them? No, just like a cracker wouldn't be able to rise with the chemical reaction of yeast or baking soda or whatever. Now, this makes your cracker hard and crunchy as opposed to soft and flexible bread. But this leaves one last question. If we don't want most of the carbon dioxide gas, why do we even use yeast or chemical replacements in the first place? It's for two reasons. Firstly, we do want a little bit of the gas which comes from the baking powder and soda rather than the yeast because it's faster than yeast. And secondly, and more importantly, we want the taste and the texture of the yeast. That's the special thing about yeast. It can absorb and add flavor and aroma compounds to the food as it makes your food rise. So, to sum it all up, crackers need holes so gas escapes and they don't rise. This makes them stay crunchy and hard and flat. And, although we don't want crackers to rise too much, we want them to still rise just a little bit, which is done with the chemical add-in. And lastly, for smell and taste, we add yeast. Well, life is an experiment, and you are the scientist. Thanks for watching. Bye! Check out some of my other videos and click that sexy picture of me to subscribe. Click that picture of my friend Matthew to check out his channel. And lastly, click that rectangle to see the rest of the playlist.